Afraid is an adjective that means to be frightened or worried about something. A similar word is fear. In everyday conversations, you can use the word afraid to express your fears or concerns, like I'm afraid of sharks. If we want to talk about one thing in particular, we need to use the preposition of, like I'm afraid of heights. Or if you want to use fear, you would say I fear heights. Afraid can also be used to express regret or concern. For example, I'm afraid I can't go to your party because I have to work. So if you have to give someone bad news, using I'm afraid at the beginning of the sentence sounds more polite and makes bad news a little bit lighter. Take a stand means to publicly support or oppose something, even if it's difficult or unpopular. For example, if you think something is wrong and you want others to know, you might take a stand and express your opinion. This can be used in situations like politics, human rights, or relationships.
Take a stand, everybody, come take my hand.
Take is a versatile verb that means to hold, carry, or accept something. Hand refers to the part of the body that we use to hold or touch things. When you combine these words to make the phrase take my hand, which is often used metaphorically, meaning that the person doesn't necessarily physically grab the other person's hand, instead, it's a way to say let me help you or let's do this together. This is a common expression in English used to show support and guidance. Another similar expression is give a hand, which means to help someone. For instance, can you give me a hand with this heavy box?
Come take my hand, we'll walk this road together through the storm.
A storm is a natural event with a lot of rain, wind, and sometimes thunder and lightning. It's also known as a thunderstorm. But Eminem isn't being so literal here. The storm here is a metaphor for a difficult situation or a hard time. He's comparing the hard things he's gone through in life to a storm.
Whatever weather, cold or warm, just letting you know that you're not alone.
The word letting in this context is a casual and informal way of saying letting, which means allowing or permitting something to happen. For instance, I'm letting you eat the last piece of cake. When native speakers talk casually, they often drop the final G sound at the end of ing words like movin' and dancin'. This is a common feature in many English songs as it helps the lyrics flow better and sound more natural. Here, Eminem is saying just letting you know, which is a common phrase in English. To let someone know means to tell someone something. For instance, I'm just letting you know the restaurant closes at 5 p.m.
Holla if you feel like you've been down the same road.
The word holla is a casual slang way of saying holler, which means to shout or to call out, basically to contact someone. For instance, when you're leaving but you want your friends to call you later, you can say, holla at me later. The not so slang way of saying this is simply let me know, like let me know if you feel like you've been down the same road. Been down the same road literally means to walk or drive down the same road that someone else has. But again, Eminem is using it as a metaphor here. In this context, it means to have faced the same challenges or gone through the same situation. This expression is frequently used to express empathy. For instance, if someone's car breaks down and your car has broken down in the past, you can say, yep, I've been down that same road. So Eminem is trying to connect with the listeners by asking if they have shared similar life experiences.
And I just can't keep living this way, so starting today.
To keep doing something means to continue to do something. For instance, I need to keep studying for college. So anytime that you want to emphasize that an action must continue, use the verb keep and a verb ending in ing, like keep reading or keep exercising. Not to be confused when using keep by itself, which means to have or retain possession of, like I'll keep the cat in my room today. So the phrase can't keep living this way is the opposite. It means that the person is struggling with their current lifestyle and realizes they need to make a change. For instance, if you're only trying to learn English through Netflix and YouTube subtitles, you can't keep living this way. The subtitles are frequently unreliable and you can't click on words and phrases to find out their definitions, so you spend a lot of time looking up definitions online. For those awesome features, you gotta check out FluentU. It's a handy app for learning English with authentic videos like movie scenes, TED Talks, and music videos. All videos in FluentU have accurate and interactive subtitles, so if you ever get lost, you can just click on the subtitles to see a context-specific definition along with real-world example videos.
I love the way you did your hair today.
Really? It's a mess. I haven't washed it.
After each video, you can take a personalized quiz and answer speaking questions so you can actually practice everything you're learning. You can try FluentU for free by signing up for a 2-week trial using the link in the description below. Plus, FluentU is currently having a sale, so now's a great time to check it out.
I'm breaking out of this cage. I'm standing up. I'ma face my demons.
Break is is a verb that means to separate into pieces as a result of force, like let's break this piñata open, or I broke a window. But when we add the preposition out, break out means to forcefully get free, like I will break out of jail. There's also an informal way using break out, which means to open and start using something, like it was time to break out the champagne. Cage is literally a structure of bars or wires that hold animals, but here it's used as a metaphor for the restrictions that hold someone back. So breaking out of this cage is a phrase that means escaping from a situation or place that feels limiting or restrictive. In this context, Eminem is talking about getting through some hard times in life and feeling free from what society expects of him. Stand up is the opposite of sit down, but here Eminem is using it as a metaphor, to stand up for something, which means he's not going to back down or hide from his troubles. It's very similar to the phrase we talked about earlier, take a stand. Demon literally means an evil spirit or devil, but here it's a metaphor for his personal struggles, fears, or negative emotions. So when he says he's going to face them, it means he's going to confront and deal with these problems instead of ignoring or avoiding them. For instance, if you're afraid of heights, you should face your demons or confront your fears by going on a roller coaster. There's also an informal context for face, which is used in the expression let's face it, to convey that one must be realistic about an unwelcome fact or situation. For instance, let's face it, we need to study more if we want to pass the test. This line shows that Eminem is expressing determination and courage in solving his problems.
I'm manning up, I'ma hold my ground, I've had enough.
Manning up is an informal way of saying that someone is taking responsibility and being strong when there are challenges. It comes from the verb to man up. It's important to note that this phrase can sometimes be considered a bit controversial as it expresses that being strong and responsible is a specifically masculine trait, man. However, in this context, it's more about showing personal strength and determination. Some better alternative phrases to use would be to tough it out or to deal with it. The literal meaning for hold my ground is to grasp the ground or floor with your hands, but this is actually an expression that comes from the idea of protecting one's ground in a physical confrontation, for instance, used in wars and battles. But it can also be used metaphorically to talk about standing up for one's beliefs or principles in any situation. For instance, I will hold my ground for something I believe in.
Now I'm so fed up, time to put my life back together right now.
Fed up is slang that means someone has reached their limit with something and they can't deal with it anymore. In casual conversations, you might hear people say they are fed up with their job, a relationship, or any other situation that has been causing them stress and frustration. Some similar expressions are sick and tired, like I'm sick and tired of waking up early. So in this line, Eminem is sick and tired of the way he's been acting, so he wants to change his life and get on the right path. If you're finding this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on upcoming videos like Learning English with Shrek.
It was my decision to get clean, I did it for me.
You might think that get clean means to remove dirt from something, but get clean is actually used to describe the process of overcoming addiction, specifically drug or alcohol addiction, also called substance abuse. In a more casual and friendly way, it means to stop or quit using alcohol or drugs. For instance, if you're struggling with addiction, you need to get clean or stop using drugs and turn your life around. Another expression that looks very similar but has a totally different meaning is come clean, like I messed up but I'll come clean to my parents. Meaning I did something wrong, but I'm going to tell my parents the truth. So here, Eminem is saying he made the choice to stop doing drugs because he wanted a better life for himself.
Admittedly, I probably did it subliminally for you, so I could come back a brand new me.
Admittedly comes from the verb to admit something, which means to confess something to be true. It's very similar to the expression we just talked about, come clean. For instance, I admit to cheating on the test. Admittedly is often used when people want to express that they are being honest or open about something, even if it's not something they're proud of or happy about. It's a way to show vulnerability and sincerity in conversation. In everyday English, you might use admittedly when you want to confess something like, admittedly, I don't always eat the healthiest food, or admittedly, I'm not a huge fan of that movie everyone loves. It's a useful word to know when you want to be honest about your feelings or opinions. The expression brand new comes from the idea that when something is first made, it has a brand or a mark on it showing that it's new. So when you say something is brand new, you're saying that it's completely new, unused, or fresh. It's often used to describe a new product or idea. In everyday conversation, you might hear people say things like, I just got a brand new car, or I'm starting a brand new job next week. It's a common way to emphasize the newness and excitement of something. So here, Eminem is saying, if he really thinks about it, he probably stopped doing drugs for the people in his life, not just for himself, because he wants to be a better person for them.
You helped see me through, and don't even realize what you did, 'cause believe me, you.
See me through is a phrase that means to guide or support someone until they've successfully navigated a difficult situation. In everyday conversation, you might hear someone say, "She saw me through my breakup," meaning that the person was supportive during the difficult time of ending a romantic relationship. So here, Eminem is saying that his family is what helped him during those hard times when he was doing drugs, and they probably don't realize how much they really helped him. By the way, we love reading your comments, like these ones where Eminem songs were requested, so comment down below which singer we should do next.
I've been through the ringer, but they can do little to the middle finger. I think I got a tear in my eye.
Ringer is a slang term that refers to a difficult or stressful situation. When someone says they've been through the ringer, it means they've experienced a challenging time. The literal definition for a ringer is a machine that squeezes and twists a wet towel to remove all the water. So when you use it as a metaphor, that's how someone might feel after going through a difficult experience. In this case, Eminem is using the word ringer to express that he has faced many challenges in his life, like his problems with fame, personal relationships, and substance abuse.
I feel like the king of my world. Haters can make like bees with no stingers and drop dead.
Make like bees with no stingers and drop dead is a creative way of saying go away or leave me alone. Let's break it down a bit. Make like is a casual and informal way of saying to act like or pretend to be. It's often followed by a comparison to something else. For example, make like a tree and leave is a funny way of telling someone to go away. Bees with no stingers is an interesting choice of words. Bees are known for their stingers, which they use to defend themselves. However, a bee with no stinger wouldn't be able to hurt anyone. So saying bees with no stingers suggests that the haters being referred to aren't a threat and can't really do anything. Drop dead is a strong and harsh way of telling someone to go away or leave you alone. It's a pretty rude and offensive phrase, so it's important to be careful when using it. A more polite alternative is just to say get out of my life or leave me alone. Not that these are actually polite, I still wouldn't say this to anyone, but it's better than telling someone to drop dead. When you put it all together, the phrase is a creative and somewhat humorous way of Eminem telling his haters to go away.
No more beef flingers, no more drama from now on. I promise to focus only on
Beef literally means meat from a cow, but it's also slang for a disagreement, conflict, or rivalry between two people. In casual conversation, you might hear people use beef to talk about arguments or conflicts between friends, family members, or co-workers. For example, if two co-workers have a disagreement about a project, someone might say they've got beef with each other. Lingers is a common verb that means to stay in a place or situation longer than expected or to continue to exist. For instance, my mom lingers over me while I do my homework. A common way that people use this word is to say a smell lingers, like, did you have eggs for breakfast? That smell lingers for hours. So beef lingers means that the conflict or disagreement between the two people is still going on. Solely is a more formal adverb that means only or entirely. In this context, it's used to emphasize that something is happening for one specific reason or is focused on one particular aspect. For example, if a person is doing something solely for fun, it means they are doing it just because they enjoy it, not for any other reason like making money or impressing someone. For example, you might say, I am solely focused on improving my English, or she is solely responsible for the success of the project. In casual conversation, you might also hear people use just or only in place of solely for a similar meaning. Let's see what Eminem promises to solely focus on. But before we do, if you want to make sure to remember all these useful expressions, make sure to download our free PDF review guide using the link in the description.
handling my responsibilities as a father, so I solemnly swear to always treat this root.
Handlin is a shortened form of handling, which literally means the act of taking or holding something in the hands. But here, Eminem isn't using the literal definition. It also just means to take care of something, like, don't worry, I'm handling it. In other words, I'm taking care of it or the situation. It's common in English to cut off the G in verbs ending in ing to sound more casual, like dancin', jumpin', or eatin'. So when Eminem says, focus solely on handling my responsibilities as a father, he means his main focus is to take care of his kids. In everyday conversations, you might hear people say, I swear or I promise when they want to assure someone of their honesty or commitment. Like, I swear I'll take good care of your dog. As a language tip, it's important to note that using swear can also mean using offensive language or bad words. So depending on the context, the meaning of swear can change. But in this case, Eminem is using swear to express a strong promise to take care of his kids.
Like my daughters and raise it, you couldn't lift a single shingle on it.
The word shingle in this context refers to a small, thin piece of building material often used for roofs or walls. When Eminem uses the term shingle in the lyrics, it's a metaphor for something small and insignificant, or something that's just a small part of the bigger picture. So here, Eminem is saying that his house and roof, a metaphor for the way he parents his children, is so stable that no one can mess or ruin it.
'Cause the way I feel, I'm strong enough to go to the club or the corner pub and lift the whole liquor counter up.
'Cause is being used as a shortened version of the word because, which means to show a reason or explanation for something. For example, you might hear someone say, I didn't go to the party because I was too tired. This is just a more informal way to say I didn't go to the party because I was too tired. Corner means the point where two lines or edges meet, often referring to the meeting point of two streets. For example, I love the pizza place that's on the corner. Pub is short for public house, which is a term used for a bar or a place that serves alcoholic beverages. In British culture, pubs are very popular, while in American culture, we just use the term bar instead of pub. So corner pub refers to a casual bar or a place for drinking.
'Cause I'm raising the bar, I shoot for the moon, but I'm too busy gazing at stars, I feel amazing.
Raising means increasing or lifting up, and bar, which in this case refers to a standard or level that must be met or exceeded. So the phrase, raising the bar, is all about setting higher standards or pushing yourself to do better. It's like challenging yourself to improve and reach new levels of success. For example, you can say, I'm going to raise the bar at work this year and try to get a promotion. Or you could tell a friend, you've been doing so well at the gym, I think it's time for you to raise the bar and try some new exercises. Shoot means to move suddenly and rapidly in one direction, like, let me shoot over to the store real quick. Shoot is used in a lot of sports, like shoot a goal in soccer or shoot a basketball. The ball is moving suddenly and rapidly in the direction of the basket or goal. So shoot for the moon means to aim high in life and to try to achieve great things and become successful. And gazin' is a casual shortened version of the word gazing, which means looking at something with admiration. So by putting this line after shoot for the moon, Eminem is basically saying, I want to achieve great things, but I keep getting distracted by other interesting things around me. It's a common feeling many people can relate to, as we often find ourselves losing focus on our goals due to various distractions in life. English slang is constantly used, so let's keep learning more words and phrases with these top 10 English slang words. P.S. I use a slang word basic all the time. I'll see you over there.